I'm just going to explain now about Alex Johnson. Alex Johnson wasn't just another guy in the friend group. He was a core long term handler. He was one of the members of the IRL containment team that surrounded me from roughly 2007 to 2018. So, part of the main team was Mike Briggs, the primary abuser and trauma bonder. And then there was also Dallas, William Gregory Mann, the chaos driver and substance pusher. And then there was Alex Johnson, the ideological enforcer, the good cop and subtle dominator. And I already mentioned stuff about Steve Simon, and I'll get to more of these IRL infiltrator fake friend nodes eventually. Steve Simon, the one that witnessed the scene at the dormitory where I was thrown down the staircase. But anyhow, while Briggs was openly violent and dominant, and Dallas was openly reckless, Alex played the contrasting, smart, reasonable, high achieving best friend role. He was the one who made the fake friend group feel more believable and harder to escape. Alex studied dietetics at UK, but every weekend he wanted to eat trash like pizza, fast food, Chili's, TGI Fridays, Panda Express, Taco Bell. He pushed the same junk food and alcohol lifestyle on me that the rest of them did, even though he was supposedly studying nutrition. He constantly reminded me that he aced advanced STEM classes while I struggled. He positioned himself as intellectually superior and higher status, all while pretending to be my close friend. He was the ideological enforcer. He pushed mainstream normie culture hard, such as Avengers, Big Bang Theory, South Park, Obama. The whole normal is good idea, mainstream science and medicine are the only truth. He mocked my interests like Dragon Ball Z and openly declared that religion, especially Christianity, was for retards and that God wasn't real. He showed real aggression toward Christians in 2009 or 2010 during a backyard tackle football game. He deliberately tackled one of our Christian friends, Jimmy Woods, so hard that Jimmy slammed his head on the hard ground and got a concussion. Jimmy's mom had to come pick him up. Another time at TGI Fridays, when Christian athlete Tim Tebow got tackled hard during a UK versus Florida game, Alex got visibly excited and started saying things like, "Yes, I hope he's injured," or "fuck him up." An older man at the table looked at him, the table over looked at him like he was completely deranged. After Mike burned me with a cigarette and threw glass at me while I was crying at the bottom of the stairs, Alex sat next to me and asked if I was okay, playing the reasonable, caring friend while the abuse was happening around him. In 2010, during a basketball game, when I took my shirt off because it was hot outside, the entire group, led by Alex, formed a circle, pointed at me, and started chanting, "Look at the McTitties, ha 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 ha." They publicly humiliated me for my gynecomastia. That exact insult, McTitties bitch tits, is now being used by current network nodes like Stephen Adams. And in 2024, Ed Hofer, the brother of targeted Patton, said that I had man milkers. This was 2 years before I ever revealed my identity, and at the time was using a voice changer and believed I was completely anonymous. That proves the network has had continuous long-term knowledge of my real identity and physical condition for over 15 years. Alex also showed the same cold, emotional flatness as the rest of them. In 2013, while helping me move a plasma TV and the TV stand upstairs of my house, it dinged the wall. When I said my dad might get mad, Alex looked at me strangely and said, The thing is, I don't care. In 2015, when I told the family I was leaving for China to teach English, his father, Lee Johnson, sat on the couch and bluntly said, I don't give a shit. After nearly a decade of pretending to be close to me, eating meals at his house, playing video games at his house, both Alex and his father responded with complete emotional detachment. Well, I started exposing, when I started exposing Pizzagate, WikiLeaks, DNC emails, and supporting Trump in 2016 on Facebook, Alex turned hostile, called me paranoid and crazy, and completely blocked me. It's a classic handler exit once the target, myself, became a threat. His father, Lee Johnson, held a senior position and still holds that actually as a professor and director of graduate studies for radiation science and radiation medicine at the UK College of Medicine. He was portrayed as this instant genius who could glance at an advanced college level math or science textbook page for a few seconds and instantly write out the entire equation. That is not normal human cognitive performance. This is what I experienced when I went over to his house, in sometime like 2010 or so. I brought my college matrix math textbook over, and he instantly knew the answer to the equation. So the Johnson family provided the respectable, high achieving cover story that made the friend group just feel more legitimate. So the final conclusion, you know, uh, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, the final conclusion: Alex Johnson was the ideological and psychological anchor of the core IRL handler team. His job was to reinforce the mainstream satanic normie worldview, subtly dominate me intellectually and emotionally, act as the good cop to balance out Briggs' overt abuse, and keep me mentally contained inside their controlled circle. All of them, Briggs, Saman, Dallas, and Alex, now work together for nearly a decade to keep me isolated, destabilized, and trapped. They used complementary roles, fake friendships, substance pushing, physical risk, trauma bonding, public humiliation, and ideological enforcement to maintain long-term containment. The fact that they all eventually moved into respectable careers while I was left isolated, is the classic network reward system. This was never friendship, this was assignment. The operation was patient, multi layered, and ran like clockwork from my mid teens onward. The cold, emotional flatness, the anti Christian aggression, the public shaming of my gynecomastia, and the perfect exit timing when I started waking up all point to something operating far beyond normal human behavior. This is one of the cleanest windows we have into the early physical layer of the network that has followed me for 25 years plus.